This is just a quick video for the Robot Dreams fans out there, and I thought you'd be interested to see this. The South Korean distributor for Robot Dreams for the release of the movie in South Korea is called Jinjin Pictures, and so they were actually interested in my Instagram posts that I did about my background work for the film, and they asked me if they could use some of the text and pictures in their promotion. And I said fine, and in return I asked them if they could send me actual physical copies of the promotional stuff that they made. So I just got the package, so this is kind of an unboxing video, if you call it that, and this is what they sent me, which is really cool stuff. I'll try and show it. And there's a whole pile of things here, and so I guess I'll just go through in any order, but there's bookmarks, and I haven't actually unpackaged them from the plastic, but hopefully that shows through. There's like a bookmark that's like a film strip of robot and dog acting out. I really love the way the sensibility and the design and thought they put into all this stuff. I'm trying to make this clear on the video. It's a little reflective, the plastic, but here's dog and robot on the beach, and it says, "Do you remember?" And yeah, very cool. And then there's pins, and let's see if this opens actually. Yeah, so really nice. It's like it's actually, what is it? Because I haven't looked through this. This is all completely unplanned. This is the box, I guess, that Robot came in the movie, and it says, you know, call 1-800-55-ROBOT, and it's got the different markings that you'd have in a box, like which way up, order now, and I guess some of these things were in the movie itself. Winston the cat is in the background yowling for some reason. I guess he likes it. A film by Pablo Berger, the Amica 2000 robot from Berger Corporation. And of course, Pablo Berger, for people who don't know the movie, he's the director. So it's a little in-joke. And there's a little pin attached to it, as you can see, with dog doing dog side eyes. And the instructions on the robot about turning it on, components. And I love the level of detail and thought put into this kind of thing. So I'm just going to move this to the side as I go. And I guess this was in that package. Again, it's a little mini bookmark, it looks like. Dog and robot. And then we have a beautiful enameled pin. And what is this? Is it... I'm not going to open each one of these because it'll make it super long, and some of them I kind of want to keep unopened, but there's a very nice enamel pin with the two of them walking down the street. You know, they're on their way to roller skating in the Central Park. And I love the color, simplicity. You know, I mean, the film entertains me too. I worked on all the key backgrounds at the beginning for about a year. But of course, we didn't know the reception the film would get. And of course, I didn't myself see every stage of it. That was done later, and I wasn't involved in the color and the final sort of iteration, you might call it, of each of the things. But I was part of the early team that was making the background. So for me to see this now, how it's kind of developed out and been accepted by this whole fandom, it's very cool. And by audiences worldwide, because they found what's universal in the movie, which is it's a movie about friendship and kind of the stages of friendship, love and loss, dealing with life. It's really about that. It's like a metaphor. Dog and robot are metaphors. Other people in the fandom, you know, and it's completely fine to do it. They project various things of their own personal lives onto it, and interpret it in their own way. But really, I think that's why it has a wide appeal. It's got a kind of a universal flavor to it. Yeah, this is the same. I'm just comparing. This is the same as the other earlier set, but it's just got a different. The earlier one, which I'll pull back here, had that side-eyes dog, and this one's got robot looking over the other way, which is really, like I said, it's thoughtful. Somebody thought this all out, you know, and I really like that level of detail. I wish that in North America they did this. I think that they gave these packages to the early audiences, as far as I understood. I don't read Korean, of course, so I couldn't follow everything on their website. And as it was released, even I was watching on Facebook on the different posts. But as far as I understand, they gave these packages to early audiences that would come to the screenings. And, you know, they were hotly sought after. And got my bubble wrap here still. So here's a beautiful turnaround of dog. These are postcards, obviously, and it says, "Do you remember?" which is a key kind of touchstone phrase for the movie that emerged, apparently, partly almost unintentionally. I've heard the director, Pablo Berger, talk about that they, I don't know if I could say stumbled upon, but serendipity is the word. It's a happy accident that they came across Earth, Wind & Fire's song September, and it somehow perfectly matched up and married with the intentions of the movie. And it's about, you know, love and loss and the memory of the beauty of a relationship, and then dealing with the bittersweet aftermath of, you know, losing a friend, somebody moves away, or in the movie, there's circumstances that draw a dog and robot apart. And for those who haven't seen it, I'm not going to say too much because I'm trying not to do spoilers. But anyway, here's from the animation, what's called a turnaround. So they do a nice rotation of the character so that everybody working on it stays on the same page, so to speak, with keeping everything consistent. And I think that what they typically do, the animators will correct me if I'm wrong, but they typically show the arms in different poses. Like, that's not meant to be a final pose. It's just showing what the hand and arm would look like extended. And on this arm, it's against the body. And then they rotate that around. And the expression's kind of neutral. So it's meant to be just kind of a basic primer on what the character looks like. I'm going to actually open this one because I'm curious about what the other postcards are like. I'm sure I'm ruining the collector value by actually opening them, but maybe you guys won't tell on me for doing this. Because I know you're curious to see these other postcards. Yeah, so we've got pre-stamped. It's printed right in the stamp, Robot Dreams stamp. I love that again. And I love the cartooniness of this. It's a return to what we need, is positivity, the comic book kind of feeling, flat colors, the warmth and charm. Even though, kind of ironically, the movie, like I've been saying, kind of deals with adult stuff too. Adult in the sense of grown-up. You know, just grown-up relationships. That's all I mean by the word adult, by the way. But a kid can understand it too and watch it, because if they maybe get more of the surface, it's very entertaining as a movie. But I think even a sensitive, slightly older kid, like 8 or 9, would certainly understand a lot of what it deals with. Maybe a younger kid, 3 or 4 or 5, you would just get the cartoony aspect. And here I am digressing into a discussion and review of the movie, but there's the robot turnaround. And I love it's based on Sarah Vaughan's original design. They probably enlarged the head a little bit so that you can get the expression a little more clearly on the big screen. Give the animators something to work with, the eyes. But it's the same, essentially the same original design. And there's just enough of a compartment there and some little lights to suggest inner workings of this robot. But otherwise, he's very simple. And this is the scene where they're watching the bridge. And I guess it's based on Woody Allen's Manhattan, I read, which I didn't actually get when I remember seeing that movie, but I didn't get that in the original. Am I glaring, people? Maybe the screen is glaring here because I've got my light nearby. And here they are on the bus trip to Coney Island, which in the movie is called Ocean Beach. And Dog has this in-joke recurring thing where he's eating Cheetos. And it's like this here in this image because he's looking through the glass of the bus window. And here we have a very nice scene of the late afternoon sunlight. And Dog's trying to phone, I think he's trying to phone Duck that he met in Central Park. And this is nice for me because I worked really hard on this perspective drawing of the living room, Dog's living room. And what's cool is that we see this setting many times because it's where he lives. And the color artists later did some beautiful work just doing the different lighting and colors at different times of the day. So we've got the late afternoon sun slanting through the Venetian blinds. We've got the ever-present pigeons that you see in different parts of the movie that are always on the windowsill looking in. Dog's been going through his collection of records. And I guess I'm back to the beginning here. So I'll put that aside and we'll keep going. Where's my sheet for later? Okay. Talking to myself. All right. Same thing, another bookmark. It's like one of those photo booths. At the bottom it says photos delivered here. I'll put that over there with those. And then we have a, what is that, a fridge magnet? No, they're little postcardy cards. I don't know, it's really cute and tiny. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to open this one, but there's Dog and Robot hugging sweetly. Good friends. Some people, I think, in the fandom think that it's a romantic relationship, but the thing is that's interesting, like I said, I'll touch on that for a second. It's fascinating because it's never really overtly explained, which I think is a good choice. It's just, I mean, because it makes it too real. It's really, the whole thing is really just a metaphor, in my opinion. I have no insider knowledge. I just worked on the backgrounds, but it's a metaphor for any kind of a relationship like that where you love someone and then you lose that connection. I think that's the way I would put it. So last thing here is, this is really cool. They've given me 2 copies, which is very nice, and I opened one of them, but this is the unopened version. And it's done by something called CGV Art House. I guess I should look that up. It's probably a South Korean design firm, and it's kind of just a fascinating little booklet they've done here. I'm going to move my bubble wrap away and try and make space here. Make space. But see, they've got this, I don't know if this is like a recurring booklet, but it's called Wednesday Morning Routine. And they've got the little they've got the days of the week here, which they have in the back, or no, in the back of the book they have it too, I noticed. But they have the little dot here under the Wednesday. And again, I love these design details. So here we have Robot and Dog. Robot's got his water wings at Coney Island, Ocean Beach. They're about to go swimming. Dog's got his very nice 80s bathing suit on. And there's kind of a funny gag in the movie because Dog in the rest of the movie hasn't got pants on, like you can see here. Right, because he's a dog, but then he has to put pants on, for, a swimming suit on to go swimming, which kind of makes no sense, but it's part of the charm. And there's a nice funny gag moment in this sequence in the movie that you'll see. And I'll do a quick flip through this, and then that'll be it for this video. But here we have just some frame grabs, and it introduces the beginning of the movie. And Dog is in his apartment. It's a little dark here because I think they printed this without lightening up for printing. So unfortunately, this is kind of printed dark, but it's the shot across the street, the establishing shot of Dog's apartment in New York City in the 80s. And he's playing Pong, and he's really bored. And it's like late at night, and then he makes himself like a macaroni, kind of like instant frozen dinner. And he's lonely. He sees across the way, he sees a couple kind of snuggling up watching a movie or something, and he's like, it reminds him of his loneliness. This won't spoil the movie, this is just the very beginning. And then he sees an infomercial, Are You Alone? And he ends up ordering this robot, and he's very excited. You could learn all this from the trailer. It's the same information. He gets it delivered by like the equivalent of, I think it's UPS, the equivalent of that. And he's got this box, and he opens it up, puts it together, and it's kind of a little comedy because it's like anybody who's tried to put together anything extensive where there's lots of labor involved. The pigeons are watching him, and he puts the robot together down here. And here we have a nice, it jumps to, it doesn't keep going, but it jumps to this cool page. Because like that was just the setup, where we have a I'm going to zoom back so people can see, a self-assembly robot. Which I just love this kind of stuff. I guess it's the kid in me, right? Like, what do we got here? The arms are folded up. This is so good. I don't know if I can pin all this down, but see, we've got the two arms. It's going to go off the frame here, but we've got robot's legs. And it extends way out past the confines of this book. We've got some bolts here that aren't finished, so it's just a quirky thing. Like it's, you could do even a lot more with this, and probably fans could make their own versions of this, or even stand-up cutouts. I just posted on my X a repost of somebody who made a very good Blender 3D model of Dog and Robot. So it's fascinating to watch how this is all emerged, because like I started touching on earlier in this video, when we made the movie, there's just like 4 or 5 people working on the beginning key parts of it. And as I said, I was only involved in doing line drawings for the backgrounds, probably about 80% of the movie, of the backgrounds. There are other people who worked on them after me, a few more of the shots and settings that I wasn't involved in after I left. But I worked for over a year on it. And like I said, when we were in that process, it was a small core team. It was done in part of, most of it I think was done in, like that section when I was working on it was during the so-called shutdown times. And we had no idea. I mean, I didn't know that it would get the kind of attention and interest from people, but it really clearly has struck a nerve, which is really cool. And I think it's because it has universal appeal. It's simple and cartoony. It doesn't have complicated, super 3D Zampow, in-your-face stuff. It's more low-key and a return almost to older kind of storytelling about real emotions and real human events that people worldwide can relate to. So yeah, there we have the two pals, and we go into a sequence here. I can't read the Korean, but they've put English at the top of each. So it says synopsis, so I guess that's a synopsis of the movie. And Jinjin's comment, I guess they introduced something here. I could use Google to translate on my phone, but I'm using my phone to record this. I'm not going to go through and translate it all, but this was like a actually nice frame from the film. And this is like a long drawing. The background was a long drawing I did of the entire design of the street, all the shops, kind of in a flat pan. They used it in one place when Dog's running along, or that might have actually been another street. I might be getting mixed up, but it was kind of like at Ocean Beach when you wanted to design it in as a real space, and then when you're doing cut-in closer shots, it would be actually consistent. So that creates the illusion that it's a real place. You aren't just randomly making up backgrounds and angles of backgrounds that don't match. And somehow that makes a difference. So this is a montage of different moments from the film. And people who've seen the film will know the film's being released apparently in North America in theaters, it turns out. I wasn't sure if it was going to be streaming, but apparently they've released Neon, the distributor for the USA, or I guess North America. It's going to be May 31st, and it's set in theaters, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And this is a sign from the part where the beach gets closed. And here's an interview with Pablo Berger, the director. And they've got the Dairyland shot behind it. Origin of the book, which the graphic novel book was done by Sarah Varon. It says here, The World of Sarah Varon. And you can find her on Instagram. And she's a graphic novelist, I believe in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then these are more shots from different sequences. Writing with Images, The World of Dreams, The Dreamed Film, the animation, music and sound. Here's a fascinating moment from early in the movie where actually the dog and robot pass a character here they've put in, which we see later in the movie, a character called Rascal, which plays an important role later. And then there's more takes from the outtakes from the movie moments. So it's kind of giving you like a rough sketch, but you wouldn't spoil it because you don't know what all these things are. But lots of moments for the movie. Here's the part that they used from what I submitted to them. They asked me if they could use notes I had put on Instagram about my different backgrounds. So I think they translated probably some of those and may have changed them. And here's that shot of the apartment that we saw earlier, which was like an ink drawing. I did a cleanup ink drawing. Most of the drawings in the film, I didn't do a final cleanup line, ink line. Other people did them, but in this one I did. And I think it was mostly used. There were some changes for layout. I think they might have changed the carpet and some of the details, but essentially it's the same design, which was built on references and very detailed notes given to me by the director and the art director. And then I did the final drawings. And this is, again, was my drawing, which was somewhat altered in the film, but they kept the essence of it, but there are some elements that were changed. For example, I think they must have decided later not to use trees, and these were all on layers in Photoshop, so that's fine. They could alter it easily. Fire escapes were probably used, I think, in another shot. There's a closer up shot where we see this part during the Halloween sequence. And I built these all in layers and learned how to draw New York City fire escapes, which I've put in other comments. That was a little bit of a task. And this was a shot in the subway booth. And this was the animatic drawing up here, which is a simpler drawing. They do a simpler cartoon storyboard moving version of the film, which was very effective in getting it across with some basic sound effects and music. And that way they knew their film would work. And again, this is one of the several of these key shots. I did inked versions, which again were somewhat changed. Like in the final, if you see this fan, which is based on a real thing that they had in these booths, it was moved over to the other side, which made good sense because this probably interfered a bit with the characters coming into scene down the stairs. But anyway, those are the things and compromises that happen as you work with any collaborative process. These are earlier designs by Sarah in her book, and I think this page is showing the work of Daniel Fernandez Casas. Don't know if I pronounced that right, the character designer. He's under Hebro Character Design on Instagram. And it shows the evolution as they modified the design of both dog and robot for animation without losing the essence, which I think they did a really good job. Dog's kept his essential character. He's just been modified slightly. And here's some comic moments between the two of them. And then these are other characters in the movie, all kinds of them, very nicely done. Snowman from the bowling alley sequence. I'll move this up for the camera so we can see some of these. But again, if you go to Hebro Character Design, and there's other designers too that worked on the film that have Instagram accounts, you can see some wonderful work. And here's more moments from the movie. And then these are actual outtakes, again, film frames. And then I guess they're closing out the booklet with lyrics from the song by Earth, Wind & Fire. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing the mind of pretenders while chasing the clouds away. I won't try and sing it. I wouldn't do that to myself. Our hearts were ringing in the key that our souls were singing as we danced in the night. Remember. I'm going to stop there. But anyway, this is really cool that they kind of did this memento book. And I guess they have credits here. And even they put in at the end this little, this was in here at the back. So it's a sequence in the movie, one of Robot's experiences with this bird that he helps. You'll see how in the movie. But credits, and then Wednesday morning routine. Again, their little logo has the Wednesday, the dot. I think that's very cool. So I guess this must be a design company that did this and put it together, that worked with them. So yeah, there you go. That's the package that came, and I hope everybody liked it. Very cool. And that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching.